Welcome to Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. I'm 14 Fitzpatrick, and today we are doing a three-part review of Monday Night Raw from August 19th, 2013 from the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. This is Hour 1. And we begin with John Cena walking down to the ring to the chorus of boos from the audience, very upset about what has transpired at the SummerSlam main event. For a couple of reasons. First, he lost the WWE Championship to Daniel Bryan. Cue the Flying Pigs. The second is that the Flying Pigs were then shot by the massive cannon that Randy Orton and Triple H were wielding at the time, because Triple H hit a pedigree on Daniel Bryan, which caused Randy Orton to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase and become the new de facto heel faction within the WWE. A new corporation, as it were. John Cena, however, has another problem. The third problem is much more serious. John Cena has a torn tricep and is going to be out 4 to 6 months, if not longer. This is a devastating blow to the kayfabe aspect of the WWE. Why do I say kayfabe aspect? Well, see, here's the thing. John Cena, for as much as we deride him, was the big good of the WWE. He was the one keeping the McMahon family and any other evil, diabolical heels from gaining control of the WWE universe. Now that the big good is injured and is going to be out 4 to 6 months for surgery, seriously, get well soon, John, and best of luck in surgery. That means that the McMahon family, which has been on the back burner for several years now, acting as faces, now get to regain control of their mighty empire. As you may have seen from the image that is on this review screen, the theme of this show today is pretty simple. Good versus evil. Or in this case, evil regaining control of WWE Raw and SmackDown after being out of control for several years because of the John Cena reign of, well, some people would call it terror. So, the big good of the WWE, John Cena, does a great passing of the torch moment, the proverbial torch being a microphone, to Daniel Bryan, who is now the top babyface of the promotion. And John Cena proceeds to leave the ring, and Daniel Bryan is about to cut a promo on the McMahon family when, speaking of the satanic family, Stephanie McMahon shows up and cuts an extremely good, I'm trying to rationalize this, what my husband has just done, heel promo. Stephanie is trying to, like I said, rationalize why they just sided with Randy Orton, who, in the past, has punted her entire family and herself and the kitchen sink in a feud way back in 2008-9. So now, this is another theme of the show that pops up. Putting aside grudges for the common good of evil, which is going to be a frequent theme on this show. See, Stephanie is not happy about this and wants to get Daniel Bryan back on her side. Unfortunately, Daniel Bryan is having none of the McMahon screwiness this week, and proceeds to trade insults with Stephanie McMahon throughout this entire segment. Both of them get some really good zingers in there, such as Stephanie McMahon's B+ grade on Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan saying, "When you lie down with trash, you start to stink." Interestingly enough, I think Stephanie is starting to have some regrets of turning Triple H completely corporate. Which, you know, Triple H was a renegade, a guy that did his own rules his own way, and despite how ungodly evil he was a lot of the time, he was likable in some cases, such as D-Generation X. But now Triple H has lost those renegade traits and has become Corporate H. Destroyer of worlds and the heir apparent to the satanic overlord position of the WWE that is currently being held by Vince McMahon and his wacky collection of suits. So all in all, the segment was incredibly well done. All three performers did their part incredibly well, and I have absolutely no complaints about the segment. I especially loved the passing of the torch moment between John Cena and Daniel Bryan. Well, good luck, Mr. Bryan. You're the top babyface now. And we will be seeing him again because Stephanie McMahon orders him, after he said one too many insults, out of the arena and picks security to escort him out of the ring. This is obviously not going to last, and once again, the McMahon family shows a bit of gender savviness over this, and they know that Daniel Bryan is probably going to come back to the arena. Hopefully not bringing a tofu food delivery truck into the arena and smashing it into the ring, which has happened before with the Austin beer truck and the Kurt Angle milk truck. So, yeah, they better hope that doesn't happen. Next up is a match between Damien Sandow and Cody Rhodes. This was a quick, fast-paced match that had Cody Rhodes doing his second victory in a row, which was, once again, really good. First, I had my doubts about Cody Rhodes playing a babyface, considering that he hadn't played one in many, many years. The last time was in 2007. But it's another interesting theme of this show. Free heels playing babyfaces. Rhodes is playing a traditional Southern-style babyface, with a lot of crisp and clean offense, which is perfectly suited to his style already, especially the disaster kick and crossroads, which are two really good maneuvers. Damien Sandow is really regretting messing with Cody Rhodes because Cody, as has been demonstrated before in the past, has a few screws loose in his character, and he's going to take whatever means necessary to completely destroy him. Anyway, we'll be covering another one of these babyface turns, Dolph Ziggler, in our next segment, as Colonel Brad Maddox proceeds to cut a promo on Dolph Ziggler, saying that Dolph Ziggler has said some disparaging comments about Triple H, and as a reward for these disparaging comments, he gets to be put in a 3-on-1 handicap match with The Shield. Isn't that wonderful? He gets to show off, pull off all of his spots, and get triple power bombed into oblivion. I'm sure Ziggler is really happy with himself right now. Next up is another promo. With Brock Lesnar now gone from the WWE temporarily, this means that Paul Heyman has to find another monster to take on CM Punk. At first, he considers sicking the cheap of the auto parts Curtis Axel on Punk. But, judging by his promo, he seems to be weighing his options as to what he can do against Punk in his continued war on the straight-edge Messiah. Here's a hint. He probably eats a lot of steak and says words in 5 syllables or less or more. Here's a hint. It's probably Ryback. If you couldn't tell from my Ryback impersonation just there. Okay, so basically if CM Punk accepts Paul Heyman's... If Punk accepts Paul Heyman's apology, or Punk accepts Paul Heyman's apology, then Paul Heyman can have CM Punk back under his wing. I don't think, once again, that's going to happen in this interesting heel versus face dynamic. Next, we finally have Layla and AJ Lee taking on Cameron and Naomi. This was a short 4-minute match that I missed, again, 3 minutes of it because I was making a cheese sandwich. I didn't think the match would actually be that short. I really did love the ridiculous overreaction that Layla did when she lost the match. Again, she's continuing this wonderful midlife crisis character that she's developed. And it's really interesting. Anyway, the Funkadactyls win the match, and this ends hour 1 of Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. We'll be right back for part 2 of Free of Monday Night Raw from August 19th, 2013. We'll be right back.